So yeah, you ever notice how the internet just decides who goes viral? And then other times someone earns it by just saying what we're all thinking? Okay. So last year, one of our guests did exactly that. Whether it was a sharp take on Nepo babies, an unapologetic breakdown of pop culture giants, or just casually reminding the world that their father is a civil rights icon. The comments were popping. The thing is, it's not just about a viral clip. It was about the substance behind it that had us all in tears and shaking our heads. And when you've worn crowns and carried a legacy of activism, your words just don't come from clicks. They come from lived truth. So today, I'm excited for this conversation because if last time it was a masterclass in real talk, I know that this time we're about to get more insight, more perspective, and probably another viral moment or two just waiting to happen. So Kimberly.
Yes.
Talking about being viral, how can Black Girl Sunscreen go viral? What is making Black Girl Sunscreen go viral?
Well, I think it's because we're bringing products that people love, right? And incorporating them into their everyday lives. And it's fun to see how they do that. So with a lot of the posts that are completely organic, people are showing how they've made Black Girl Sunscreen part of their lives every day. And it's really fun. And it's usually somebody
how can we make
on
this?
the beach.
Yeah,
Listen, I was just going to say, we may be, heading towards the end of the warm weather, but we keep people looking good and stylish year round. And I think that's probably too how we go viral. So we're going to talk about the bucket hat.
Okay.
That was one of our launches this year.
Okay.
As part of our Sun Shield UPF collection. So the great thing about the bucket hat is that it provides UPF 50. So it's a hat that also, yes, it's stylish, but it's going to protect your skin and it's also going to protect your scalp. So the wonderful thing about it is that it has a vegan satin lining. So it really protects the hair. So whether you're wearing a protective style like braids or wearing your hair straight or wearing it curly, it's sized so that it protects and also fits almost everybody. So it's like a one size fits most. The fabric is really soft. And like I said, it's great for protective styles. But whether you're out in the sun all day or just wanting to look good and stylish, that's the hat for you.
How do we feel about bucket hats in the fall going into this to the winter?
Are you kidding? It's black.
Yes.
So it's the perfect color. I mean, you wear a lot of, darker colors during the fall. So I think it's going to fit right into what everybody's already wearing. So it's year-round style and protection.
I just wore mine the other day. I love my buckets. All colors, all Black Girl Sunscreen bucket hats. I'm notorious for wearing them.
Yes.
So where can we find the bucket hat?
Exclusively at blackgirlsunscreen.com.
Okay. Kimberly, who do we have with us today?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, today's guest is an award-winning dynamic force in media, marketing, and storytelling. She carved a unique path from pageant stages to the boardrooms of some of the world's most recognizable brands. She's driven the social and digital strategy for top names across the fashion, entertainment, and tech industries, bringing a sharp eye for culture, community, and connection. Currently the vice president of social at Future PLC, she's known for her ability to bridge the gap between authentic representation and business results. Her work blends strategy with soul. She's also a vocal advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the media industry, using her platform to open doors and amplify underrepresented voices. Get ready for a conversation that equals parts inspiration, insight, and real talk from a woman who knows how to win on every stage. Please welcome back to the show the incredible MacKenzie Green.
Wow. Who's that lady? She sounds fancy.
She is fancy, But I heard you mention something that you didn't talk about last year, and that was a boyfriend.
Yes. Yes.
Let us know who is the new boo.
So it's funny. I'm going to give a little inside baseball to the audience. So when I saw this on the rundown, I also knew that Shontay had seen my phone at an event where he was my background. So that inspired me to change it to my vision board. So yes, since last time I was here, I'm no longer a single dingle.
Okay.
Okay, how's it going?
Great. I think it's funny. I was talking to him about this today as I was leaving for this interview, and because he was trying to get a string off of his clothes, and he was like, "Oh, do you think you could deal with this?" And I said, "Well, you're trying to get a string off of your clothes, and I'm headed to a radio interview. Can you deal with that? Like, are you comfortable with like our life on these like seemingly incongruous moments where you're like, I'm just trying to figure out this pan, and I'm like, okay, great. So I have to go to this board meeting." And I think what's nice is like I have found a partner who is comfortable and understands that we are teammates and not competitors, and so that has been incredibly helpful for me.
That sounds great. But listen, how was that single life? Was it raggedy out there, or is it greener? Is it the grass greener on the other side?
I mean, this is a real bleak comparison, but I told my friend I felt like I got the last plane out of Nam. Like it was like, get me out of here. Oh my goodness, help me. I mean, it's bleak only because I think you're dealing with this constant conversation of what is a woman's place in a relationship, right? And the voices are beginning to get louder as to what that looks like. And so entering into the dating pool and being someone who's a caregiver, who's a vice president, all these things that go against some of the rhetoric, and sitting across from somebody who is talking about like, well, I want somebody who's going to stay home with the kids. And I'm like, well, I want to climb this ladder. And it's kind of like, well, would you give that up? And I'm like, I never knew that was an either or. I always was raised that it's a both and. And so, yeah, it was raggedy, but I found the person that when I said those things, they were like, oh, okay, I got you.
Okay. Listen, I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
You're here gleaming and glowing and smiling.
Happy.
Oh, gosh, I hope he never hears this because I try to do him like my dad. I try to never give them credit. So if he hears this, he's going to be like, ooh, people think you look happy. And I'm going to be like, barf.
Go ahead, Kimberly, because that was wild.
Okay, so we have things that we were going to talk about, but I just want to get your take on something that's starting to die down a little bit, but the whole Sydney Sweeney situation.
Yes.
And was it really all that it was blown up to be? Do you think that even Sydney knew what was going on? Because my take is she is like the it girl right now for the youngest of the young and not politically motivated or educated in that way.
Yeah. So it's funny you asked me this because I love going down curiosity rabbit holes. And one I have been on this last year is sociolinguistics, like what words mean in relationship to culture and different kind of social movements and all this stuff. And so when the ad happened, it is that conversation of like, oh, it's not that deep. And I think it can be both things at once. It can be an ad agency that thought they were doing something provocative and interesting and absolutely were just biting off of the Brooke Shield, Calvin Klein ad.
Right.
Simultaneously, language happens within culture. So everybody missing the mark of like where we are in space and time today and saying words like parents pass down to offspring, my genes are blue, all of that takes a much bigger kind of tone when you drop it into the time that we live in right now. So like I think both things are happening at once, that it is both like very misguided advertising and just kind of like, that wasn't interesting. Why'd you bite off of Brooke Shields? And also read the room, look at where we're standing right now, and just review the copy one more time.
So you're in the space.
Yes.
What would you have done or said if that came across your desk? I mean,
Well, I mean, I think that's the funny part, right? Is we in business kind of Monday morning quarterback when these things happen where we're like, what would I have done? And I think the first part is knowing what you're leading the campaign with, right? So then later they went ahead and they were like, we had all these other videos where she's not saying this. Again, it's reading the room. It's having enough voices in the room. Like I always say to my team, I don't want everybody to look related. So my first question is, what did that room look like?
Yeah.
Because at least one person who's not in this kind of homogenous space would have been like, hey, quick throwing this out there. And not even talking about from the language, but just from a selling point. Do we want to, as American Eagle, who's previously tried to show ourselves as inclusive and talking to young women about all body types are great, do we want to lead with one singular person being the representation of good genes? Like, do we want to now, in hindsight, pull a gap, have multiple people in the ad, and then zoom out on individual members of the ad campaign.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that American Eagle has been around for a long time,
Yes.
right? So they have some staying power, but do you think they were chasing being viral?
Absolutely. Oh, 1,000,000%. Because I think what they were focusing on is the Sydney Sweeney Sasquatch soap commercial.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw it. So she did a Sasquatch soap where it was like, oh, get ready. It had some of her bathwater in it, and it sold out like crazy. Oh, yeah.
Like her bathwater?
Yeah. Like,
In
yes.
the soap?
In the soap.
In the soap.
Oh, bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it sells out. It goes crazy. And then, of course, because you have Jacob Elroy having to have done Saltburn, it's kind of like, oh my God, the Euphoria kids in their bathwater and all this stuff. And I think when they
Do we think that's real?
I don't. I do not.
Because
Like, and that's the part that also makes me
it's
sad.
mass production,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so then that's the part that also makes me sad from a business perspective when you're like watching dudes get on eBay and being like, I paid $500 for that Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap. And you're like, you just paid for like an essential oil that kind of smells like eucalyptus in your soaps, like so that you can be like, oh, that's Sydney on me. And it's like, okay, buddy.
Ew.
Yeah. And I think that is then what led the booking for the jeans, is that it's like, oh my God, people are going crazy for Sydney. And again, that algorithmic bias, you're like, people you converse with are going crazy for Sydney.
Mhm.
And I think that's the problem, is like people cannot zoom out enough to be like, what I am seeing as viral does not mean it's viral for everyone. Or even on the smaller level going, okay, I'm seeing a lot of people with good reception. Now let me go look online to see like maybe what other folks think about this whole Sasquatch soap thing and then make a decision from there. But I do think it was an ad agency going, everybody loves the soap. It sold out in minutes. We got to get her for these jeans. And it's like, okay, guys.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So a lot's happened in this space since you were last here. And I wanted to get your take on what's happening with a lot of Black-owned beauty brands and, you know, them either choosing to close their doors or selling to some of the bigger conglomerates. And then taking it to the next step, do you think that the audience is starting to lose interest in the importance of supporting Black-owned brands, particularly our community?
Okay. Because I was about to say, I was like, when we talk about like kind of the community not abandoning, but the circus moving on, I think about think about 2020. It was this immediate kind of, oh, we've got to get Black-owned brands and we've got to get, you know, I want to read more Black books. And it's funny because I'm a big reader and I just came across a video yesterday. This woman has started a series where she's like reading the anti-racist books she bought in 2020 and never read. And it's like it's like, I'm sure this is on your shelf and I'm sure you've never picked it up. But when I think about beauty brands, I think of Ami Collet.
Yes.
Because it's like, here you have a brand that is beloved by Black consumers. And then when it's closing, you're seeing potential consumers saying, I'd never heard of this. I've never seen this before. Yeah. And meanwhile, I know that people like Annie are doing entire Get Ready With Me using Ame Collet products. I'm watching Jackie Aina use it. I'm watching like, you know, Makeup Shayla included in her stuff. And I don't know if there's a fatigue or kind of the Black consumers leaving, but I do think it's a level of marketing spend. And I think and this is also my soapbox about venture capital, I think the issue is VC firms got so excited in 2020, put this huge infusion of cash in a lot of these brands, pushed them out further into the ocean, and then the excitement started to wear down. And it's almost like, well, now I have to continue to meet this financial ceiling, but I'm not selling out on the shelves in Sephora's like I was before. And so then, again, the marketer in me is like, well, then let's turn those dollars from continued shelf space and more product SKUs to instead like beefing up the marketing, talking to more people, going to more live events. Like I will say, I applaud like partnering with a women's collegiate team for Black Girl Sunscreen, because it's like, again, that's more word of mouth. That's people being like, oh, it didn't get in my eyes. Like, is it going to national conclaves for different organizations and reintroducing yourself? So I think it's a mix of, VC funding and then just the money not necessarily going to the channels that would help it continue to grow.
Yeah, there's a lot happening though, right? So if the company was birthed in 2020, right? Right during George Floyd and the movement and everyone wanting to champion, get behind and figure out how they support, it was disingenuous.
Yeah.
Right? And unauthentic. So you put these brands on the shelves, and to your point, it involves a lot of marketing, a lot of spend. And what we're seeing now at VCs is, okay, let's see who is actually going to make it through.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're at this 5-year mark. Sales aren't up. The economy is doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
And we're not going to pump in any cash to see if they're actually going to get past this certain point. What VCs are not, I feel like, aware of is the longevity that it takes.
Yes.
So the celebrity brands that have their peak and pop real quick, and non-celebrity brands that have their peak, but we're not talking about Black-owned.
Yeah.
We're just talking about brands. Okay?
Yes.
Have a peak, have a moment, are setting the trend. They're doing it very quickly. Whereas with a Black business, it takes time.
And that's the big thing, right? It's like, and I even think about this idea when we talk about selling, right? It's like, God forbid a Black hair care brand sell to a larger company to be able to sustain that growth. People are like, how dare you? I can't believe you did that. Meanwhile, a celebrity brand can sell for $1 billion, and everybody's like, finally, I can get it in more stores. I can get it where where my foot trap. And so it's like,
and with that, what do you think about Road Beauty?
That's what I was talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Where I think, again, to your point, when we talk about the marketing and the spend and like the visibility, it is easy for Hailey to make sure that is in product seeding is expensive and people don't realize that. And she can make sure the full flight of products are sitting in every major makeup artist bag, sitting in every celebrity's thing, and that is the stuff that creates this, again, going back to algorithmic bias. Oh my God, I see Rhode everywhere. You don't see it everywhere.
Right.
By choice.
Exactly.
It's not an accident. You just happen to see everybody on a particular day using Rhode glazing lotion. There's a reason everybody was like, wow, glazed donut skin. Like that
was a term way before.
But
Rhode.
but that's what I'm saying is I'm reading those emails that come in from the PR person that's like, for release, Hailey Bieber makes, glazed donut skin accessible to all with the Rose glazing lotion. And you're like, that's how this starts, is I need an article to write today. And again, all those things cost money. I don't think people realize that.
Is there a Nepo baby from our community?
I think about this all the time.
That could be the next Rhode.
I do, and it's Tracee Ellis Ross. Because she is so... I think she has become so ubiquitous in culture, both Black and white and otherwise, that she has now jumped on this kind of the desire of the child-free woman, no matter the racial divide. And it's kind of so I'm chasing my dreams, I'm chasing my bliss. She is very smart about how she's positioned this, where even I heard her speak at Ad Color where she was like, yeah, it's for coily hair, but all hair benefits from, and I was like, all right. Okay. All right. That's that Diana Ross coming through right there.
Yeah.
I want to challenge that because I thought she was just talking about how lonely she was. I don't know if it included being childless, but there's definitely a want for more.
But I think if we were to look at culture, right, we're coming off the back of an election cycle in which the conversation about a woman's worth with a partner without. Homegirl was smart enough to go, ooh, we're talking about single women. I am totally fine coming forward and being like, I have a solo travel show. I have my self-care days. Again, it's that Hailey Bieber doing the thing recently where she's eating with a sheet mask and people are like, wow, how are you eating with a sheet mask on? Same thing that Tracee does, where she's she's showing you on this beautiful, glamorous solo trip. And then she's like, oh, the skin is glowing. And people are like, well, how do you get it so shiny? It's it's looking at those moments in time where everybody's kind of talking about you in this vacuum. It's no mistake that Hailey Bieber's oh, the whole world thinks my husband hates me. Hey, you guys should check out Rhode glazing lotion for your lips.
Does he?
I mean, that people debate it quite frequently.
Oh boy!
And she capitalizes off of that, and kudos to her.
Okay. We have a game that you're pretty familiar with. Okay, let's tee it up.
Okay, so this is a little different from the game we played last time. Okay, so this one is called Yeah or Nah. Okay. So I'm gonna throw out a phrase, and you're gonna say yeah or nah.
Okay.
And you can give a little context to your answer if you'd like. Okay, so let me go with the very first question. Sean Combs' legacy will survive.
No.
Yes.
Nah.
He's beat charges in cases before. That's my explanation. Some big ones. I do think that depending on the outcome, whoever was the supporter, they're gonna come back out. That's what I think.
Okay.
It's a year or no.
Right.
It's
Right.
a year
Okay.
or no.
Beyonce's Cowboy Carter is a country album.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. Social media is the most powerful tool for driving political change.
At this point in time, yeah.
Would your father agree?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, like she's looking at me like I don't know. I don't know if social media is the most powerful tool because I think there are people still doing real work on the ground. Whether it's canvassing and really having those supporters that actually can make things happen behind the scenes without being so out there in your face. So that's why
I would say I would highly recommend the book Careless People. It's by a former Meta employee. It's an incredible book about kind of the evolution of their political involvement. I think all of those things exist. And I think the traditional media kind of wheel doesn't exist the way it used to. And so I think social, podcasting, YouTube have taken the place that a lot of legacy media companies have taken for a younger generation. So that's why I think it has the part
so
it
the
has.
power. Yeah.
Yeah, because because if you think about it, yes, you're still sitting on the Texas, Senate floor and you're doing the physical work, but it also matters for somebody to come in there with their phone and put it online.
1,000%.
Yeah.
So we just have different opinions.
Yep.
What you got, Kimberly?
All right. Starring in a Tyler Perry movie.
For the money, the clout, and the career security, yeah. For the plot lines and the wigs, I say no.
Right? I mean, oh my
Are the
God.
wigs bad?
Bad.
Oh, so bad. I'm also saying this as somebody who used to work on shows for Mr. Perry. You're like, this is awesome. This is great. You're like, wow, a man just punched a lady driving a car 80 miles an hour in the first 2 minutes of this show. This is spectacular. We're all going to be rich.
Listen. I want to go on Real Housewives. That's what I'm gonna say. Go.
I respect that.
Okay, nah, is mine. Okay, people outside of the community wearing braids, cornrows, or sticky bangs.
For the sake of their hair texture, nah. Like, but then I say yeah because it's funny to watch the takedown videos on TikTok.
What?
It's really. Have you ever watched the?
No.
Oh my! There is nothing funnier to me online than a white lady who insists on being like, I can do whatever I want with my hair. And then that follow-up video about a month later where she's taking it out and it's just mats and knots. And she's like, guys, I'm going to have to cut my hair. And people are like in the comments being like, now what did we learn?
Yeah. So what is the question? People outside the community wearing braids, cornrows, or sticky bangs? Okay, can I just go by like one by one? Because I think they're all very different. So wearing braids, yes. I don't mind that at all. I've grown up in a community where people go on cruises and they come back with their braids and they think it's fun and it's cool and it's just kind of playful. Okay, cool. Cornrows, it trips me out. If we're an adult at this point in time, nobody should be wearing cornrows. Like no one. I don't care what race you are. No one should be wearing cornrows. And then sticky bangs, that's a nah.
Okay, all right. Dating in the workplace.
That's where you met your man?
No, God, no. That's why I'm like, nah. I don't know, because that's the funny part is I am someone who's never been inclined to date in the workplace. It's the same as like when I went off to college. I remember one of my parents' friends were like, don't date your professor. And I was like, what?
And now it's possible?
But I'm just like, what? You're looking at this person who's grading your material and telling you whether or not you're smart and being like, ooh, okay. So, I mean, it's a nay for me because I don't know. For me in general, it's like work is such a specific place of like discipline and skill that I don't even see people. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
You don't see them? So they just like spirit.
Yeah, like I'm just
around?
like, hey, great day. Like 2 of my coworkers recently got married and I was like, whoa. Like, I was so tripped out by it. I still am when they get on Zoom. I'm like, oh, right. They're in the same house. That's crazy.
Dating in the workplace. As I get older, I say nah. When I was younger, I felt like it was a place to meet people that had things in common with you. If you spent a lot of time there, then it's just kind of like natural. I don't think, though, that if they were not in the workplace, then they would date otherwise. It is the workplace that brings them together. It's not a year or not. It's just that my perception has and my thoughts have just kind of changed. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a no. Love is Blind is better than Bachelor in Paradise.
I'd hate them both. Let the sinkhole take both.
Who? I've never seen that.
Okay, so let's just say nah all around. Okay, the rise of AI-generated content will harm creativity.
Nay. Only because I think the misgivings we have about any kind of technological innovation is we forget there is someone who is in charge of the input. And I think even when we talk about like diversity and algorithmic bias, it takes having the right person on the other side who's managing and creating the inputs that determines what that art is.
Yeah, I think who's using it, right? So like I can tell when I'm scrolling, doom scrolling on the gram, who let chat write their caption.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, okay, so are we not even attempting anymore? Like, can you just take out the dash and put a comma? Like, there's a way to kind of revise it and just kind of like, I think that it should just be inspo for creativity and not like a substitution. So the rise of AI generated content will harm creativity slightly.
I agree. I think it can. So it's all about who inputs it and how you use it. So, okay, last one. 2025 Met Gala, super fine. Focusing on Black dandyism. Okay. Was that the best Met ever?
Not the best Met ever, but it was the most profitable for the foundation. So, yay. I think the best, in my opinion, will always be Heavenly Bodies, and then closely followed by Camp, because those were the only times people actually understood that it's a costume party,
right,
and not beautiful gowns.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I didn't watch it.
It's beautiful. I highly recommend it.
Should I go
it's
back?
like I would say either look at the material, the book it's based on, Slave to Fashion. Incredible piece of work. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was one of the better ones for sure. Not the best, but one of the better. Okay. Well, that's it for the game, but I have one more quick question that I have to squeeze in.
Yep.
I'm curious what having dinner with your father is like, talking about the current climate, political climate.
Yeah.
Is he shocked by what's happening? And
so I get this
backwards?
question a lot where people are like, what do you talk about with your dad? And I think the better way to flip that is that my dad talks to me about these topics. So I've been his speechwriter for about the last 21 years of my life. And so a lot of kind of my voracious reading, my process around commonplace books has been, I am constantly looking for quotes, pieces of information, like connective tissue to what these issues are with a, like, whatever the easier way of kind of the entry into the topic. So when we talk about stuff that's happening now, one of my favorite lines I've ever put in one of his speeches is that systemic racism is like added sugar. As someone who has loved a diet in the past, anybody who has knows that when you cut out sugar from your diet and you start turning over labels, you are astonished to find out what sugar is in. Like all of a sudden you're like, why is there sugar in mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Like who put this in here? Yeah. And you realize it's in everything. Yeah. And I think when we have conversations, it is from that place of him confirming when I turn the label over. Yeah, I've seen this before. This has always been in the thing. And recently I was reading Eve Ewing's book, Original Sins, about Native and Black education, kind of what the education system has done for those two communities. And it again furthers that conversation where we're like, we've done this before. We've had this conversation. Like when he and I talk, we're like, wow, people keep comparing this man to a World War II atrocity when Andrew Jackson is right here in our backyard. You know, it's like people talk about this, but like we've always had an issue with gerrymandering. We're talking about that. And so I think our conversations are a lot more like confirming to one another. Like we've seen this before, right? We've done this before. And it's also him coming to me, double checking, Like, I'm not crazy that this is a thing impacting you. Or, hey, I thought this was fixed. How did this play out for you as coming up as an elder millennial, like in these spaces? So yeah, it's an exchange of conversation and not as much, I think, sitting at his feet and kind of being like, help me make sense of all of this.
Interesting. Is he surprised or disappointed that it doesn't seem like we're making progress?
And I think that's the part that kind of disappoints people, is that he does not come from a place. I mean, I think about election night. It's like, well, everybody else was kind of like shocked or being like, I can't believe it. My mom always jokes about how she was like, hey, Ernest, she lost. And he was like, okay. Like, and it's the same thing. I remember going on the radio the day of the announcement of the nomination and telling people, like, you're about to be introduced to misogynoir on the largest scale you've ever seen in your life. And people were like, no, I'm excited. And my dad and I joked that like the minute 40 different Zoom calls popped up, we thought, oh, okay, people don't understand the severity of what's happening. Instead, they think that this is a moment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Should we lighten it up?
Yeah.
For a quick second? And before you go, we're going to lighten it up.
Okay.
What's going on with MacKenzie? What's next?
Oh, boy. Oh, man. I mean, immediately the first thing that popped in my head is I'm running a half marathon next month.
Okay.
I mean, it's like my 8 billionth. So people say, wow. And I'm like, don't wow. I don't cope with my feelings well. I'm like, between my therapist and road races, that's how I handle everything. The other is I just recently launched a Substack because, like I said earlier, research is my leisure hobby. And so a lot of times I go down these topic deep dives, and Instagram stories is not enough to contain the multitude of topics I'm constantly trying to just unravel. And yeah, my 9 to 5 and my creator work. And I try to make sure my dog doesn't eat my shoes. Like, that's pretty much what's happening.
I love it. MacKenzie, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for
having
back.
me.
We knew we were gonna laugh. we got some interesting perspectives from you, and it's everything that I thought it would be. Kimberly,
I loved it, every second of it.
Thank
you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and you're listening to Shamelessly Shontay. Bye.